Hello, everyone. Onegaishimasu.
お願いします。
Good evening, good morning. We'll begin with the Shokushu number 22, key testing. The mind is an ungraspable thing that has no color, odor, or shape. However, because the mind and body are one, you can know the state of ungraspable mind by testing the body. This is key testing. A key test is not a test to determine strength or weakness. It is important that the person that performs a key test first experience unification of one's own mind and body, and then perform a correct test to let a partner know his or her state of mind. I don't know if you're familiar, but the fifth principle of key testing, Toi Sensei says in Japanese, the teaching is the moon, not the finger pointing to the moon. That's his fifth principle of key test. What do you think? He means, of course, teach the meaning of the key test. Don't teach how to pass the key test. The fourth principle is don't teach how to pass. So this is not a question of achieving something or having failure or success or winning or even passing. Because if that were the case, then all I should do is just teach you how to pass. And Toi Sensei specifically says, please don't teach them how to pass. That's not what it's about. So what is it about? It's the same old refrain that I've told you about so many times that he told us again and again and again. When you go out to teach, don't teach how to do. Teach the meaning behind what you do. Why do we do this? What is the meaning of this? What does it arise out of in our lives? Why do we even do this? So don't do anything for the sake of doing it only. Don't make a movement for the sake of movement. Understand the principle behind the movement. What is it expressing? Teach the moon, not the finger pointing to the moon. All right, let's, before I go further, let's do some key breathing, all right? All right, key testing. So, Tohei Sensei, as he developed the teaching for Ki Society, Kino Kenkukai at the time, he borrowed many, many things. We have many aspects to our training. Kyatsu, Misogi, weapons training techniques, Aikitaiso exercises, relaxed Taiso, meditation, ki breathing, and so forth, and ki testing. All of these things came from somewhere. They weren't invented by Tohei Sensei, except for ki testing. Ki testing, no one has ever found any record of it being practiced anywhere, in any other teaching at any other time, except here in Ki Society, in Shinshin Tutsu Aikido Kai. As I read in Tohei Sensei's Shokushu about ki testing, the purpose of the testing is simple. It's just to discover the state of mind of the examinee, and for both the benefit of the examiner and the benefit of the examinee, in order to give a ki test so that this is a fair revelation to the examinee. Then the examiner must be unified. There are several levels, 4 levels of ki tester, examiner, ki examiner. There's assistant examiner, associate examiner, examiner, and finally, special examiner. Of course, there are many assistants, fewer associates, much fewer examiners, and almost no, very, very few. I think 3 in Japan and maybe 3 or 4 outside of Japan, special examiners. And of course, excuse me. So the process, the system of teaching goes from Shokyu, then Chukyu, then Jokyu, then Shoden, Chuden, Joden, and Okuden finally. There's also a kaiden, but no one ever has seen it, and no one knows what that is. Tohei Sensei just said there was a kaiden. But for the testing, we only go up to, so far, to Okuden. And so those examiners, as the assistant, associate, examiner, and then a special examiner, are allowed to test on a higher and higher level. So a higher and higher level means basically calmer and calmer mind, which in turn means the examiner and the examinee are able to match each other's state of mind. And that state of mind, because of this calmness, is able to participate on a deeper and deeper level as the ranks go up, a deeper and deeper level with Reisei Shin, or Absolute, or Taiga, the spirit of Taiga. We could just say, well, when we say mind-body unification, we are talking about a mind and body that together is engaged in and appreciating Reisei Shin. Reisei Shin is the divine mind, the mind that penetrates the entire universe. So we can experience maybe not all of it, but a little bit of it. And the more calm we become, the more we're able to experience this in our own mind and body. So key test is to discover to what degree are you participating in that reality? To what degree are you experiencing mind-body unification? Okay, so, excuse me, this is an unusual kind of class. All these are now because I don't have anybody here to test, but I will show you anyway, and we'll do the best we can. And so I think the important thing, it's important to recognize that, as Shinichi Tohei Sensei emphasizes always, Shokyu is a very easy test because we're only testing a posture of the body, the physical posture. And anyone who's had a simple, basic 1 day of training, although you still have to wait 6 months to take this test, but even after 1 day, you probably should be able to pass Shokyu test. And Shokyu test, we touch the body of the examinee on the left side of the chest. We stand to the left and test there very, very lightly. Just put the hand there. And that hand alone registers with the examinee, oh, I'm supposed to be physically standing in posture. So there are plenty of chance to prepare. And then you might apply very small pressure so that the examinee knows what state of mind they're in. Okay, and then Chukyu, the next one, is exactly the same, except that it's a surprise. So we've added the element of surprise in Chukyu. So we touch quickly and then check. Touch quickly and check. Touch quickly and show. Okay? So those are the two body tests. Now, a Jokyu, which you have to pass in order to become Shodan, first degree black belt, Jokyu test is the beginning of mind test. So instead of standing on the side, we come around and stand directly in front of the examinee and walk toward the examinee, then touch, then check. So why do we do all this performance? So we have to remember that whenever you have an intention to do something, that means you have some tension in your body. Just remember, intention means tension. So if you have a project, if you got something you got to get done, and that is to test this person to see if they can pass the test. So then, of course, you have tension in your body, and you cannot give a true key test that way. First, you have to be unified. Whatever you're looking for in the other person, you have to be demonstrating that. What you're doing is examining. You are an examiner. You are asking a question, and you are seeking out the answer. The question is, what state of mind are you in? To the examinee, what state of mind? You're just looking to see. You don't know yet. You're going to examine this person. So when you step to the front, these are every key test from Jokyu on up has 3 parts to it. Important, very important. First, you see. Second, you touch and you feel. And third, you demonstrate. When you see, it means you look to see. And when you feel, it means you touch to feel. It doesn't mean you push, because you have no intention. You're only checking to see. So you feel. What do you feel? Do you feel stability? Do you feel nervousness? Do you feel anxiety? And as you're walking forward, if you have a lot of experience, probably you can already see the state of mind in the person. But guaranteed, when you touch, they will reveal their state of mind to you. And so by the time you apply a little bit of pressure, you already know the state of mind, and you're only providing the pressure so that the examinee gets a proof of that state of mind. They understand, okay. Stable? Oh, maybe not so stable. And then, of course, when we're in class and we're practicing this, we do this many, 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 many times. Now, maybe tonight we're only going to talk about this kind of test, but there's many key tests, as you know. The entire key examination includes many, many, many different positions: unraisable arm, unbendable arm, standing with mind and body unified, sitting, standing up, sitting down, cross-legged, pushing from behind, lifting your knee, and on and on and on. And but every one of these tests is identical. It's look, touch, and confirm. Look, touch, and confirm. So see, feel, and demonstrate. Okay, so what is the difference between Jokyu, Shoden, Chuden, and Joden, and finally Okuden? Maybe someone with a lot of experience can tell me the difference between these three. How about Elima Loomis? Speak to me, Elima. Speak to us.
Hi, Sensei. My understanding from what you've taught in the past is that each of those tests just reflects a deeper and deeper level of calmness.
That is the word that I use. That's true. But what does that mean? What is the meaning of that? Doi Sensei, you heard my introduction. Doi Sensei said, don't teach how to do, okay? Teach the meaning of that. So he wants us to understand what is the meaning of calmness. Yes, you're right. As you go up the scale in these different tests, both the examinee and examiner have to become more and more calm. So I'm giving exactly the same key test for Jokyu that I give for Okuden. I don't really give Okuden, I give Joden, but it's the same test. The difference is my state of mind. So the same thing for you if you're taking the key test. The difference is your state of mind. So how do you become calm? What does calmness mean? Would you like to say something about that?
Sure. Well, I guess I don't think that you become calm in the sense that the more I try to become calm, the less calm I am. So I guess I would say that experience is one of just doing less and less and less.
Okay, that's a good answer. Anybody else want to offer a view of what that is? How does calmness come about? What is the meaning of calmness? What does it mean to have a calm mind? About Lillian Paiva. Please speak up, Lillian.
Thank you for this opportunity, Sensei. I was just thinking that it's not, to me, that quite, it's not caring about anything less and less. So much stuff still going to go on around you. And all those things that never stop going on around you, you're going to acknowledge it, but your preference for these things is going to be less and less.
Okay. What makes them become less and less?
Well, for me, the only thing that's made it come less and less is all the sitting in the meditation. I realized that most of this stuff, even though it seems very important on and off, isn't so important.
I think we're missing something, though. There's something about how does calmness come about? Come on, that's what I'm asking. Melly Stokesbury, please speak to us. How does calmness come about? What is the meaning of a calm mind? What is that reflection of?
You need to be in your one point. You need to be really aware and being in your one point to be calm. And you have to be relaxed. And you just, my past experience of that when I took a key test was just trying to feel part of everything there, feeling part of all the people and the place and the whole world around me. But I was taking a test, I'm not giving a test. I'm not sure how to answer that from the point of view of the examiner.
Good. Very, very nice. I mean, that's, of course, you're talking about your experience. That's great. Yes, keeping one point, of course. Toby, what are we missing here? Anything, or is that all we can say?
There's much more we could say.
Yes, I would say acceptance in this case.
Acceptance?
Learning to accept the situation, yeah, whatever arises, whatever happens.
Okay, all right. Of course, that's true. It looks like Prakash has his hand up. He would like to say, Prakash, please say, what do you have to?
Sensei, one thing I don't understand is when you say, don't show how to pass the test. Do you remember when Tohei Sensei was in the Maui High School gym? When I was doing my Shodan test, and there were 30 black belts from all over the USA, and we were doing the raising your arms, and Tohei Sensei went down the line and pushed everyone over. And then he came back and he was working with me, and he gave me the feeling of what it was like to pass the test. And I felt it was like I was really nervous at the beginning, and then when he was with me, the feeling he gave me settled me. And then the chief instructor came and tested us all, and we all passed.
Yeah, it's a really good story, and it reveals what I'm looking for here.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at this. We have to understand that calmness, as well as relaxation, are a byproduct. They are the result of something. What they are the result of is paying attention. Paying attention. Awareness. When someone that has a great power of attention, has a great capacity of attention, stands near you and supports you, you pay attention.
Yeah.
Well, this is true in any situation, but it's very true, very much practiced by teachers in key testing. That's how we can help the student get the feeling This is healing. Then the question is, can you do that tomorrow? Did he really show you how to do something? Or did he really just transmit the feeling to you of paying attention, of being in a state of great attentiveness, or awareness? Sensei would call awareness. Suzuki Sensei liked to use that word. But we say the 4 basic principles are: keep one point, relax completely, keep weight under side, which is calmness, and extend ki. So keep one point is actually the attentiveness. The byproduct of that is the second one, relaxation. Extending ki, this is the attentiveness, the awareness. The byproduct of that is calmness. And we often demonstrate this, or I do when I'm teaching, by having everybody in the class sit for a moment. We close our eyes and we just listen to every sound in the room. And we feel very calm very soon. Everybody does. Whenever we pay attention, the byproduct of that is calmness. Now, when we can pay attention on a very, very all-inclusive level, so this is why we have Kakuraiho and Shuchuho, keeping one point and extending ki, you can say. So when we are resting in the center of everything, and as Toby said, accepting everything, this we have to have a great capacity of attention or awareness in order to experience this. So that we say the 4 basic principles, but the way it breaks down is, in order to experience Reisei Shin, we have to be very, very calm. And in order to be very, very calm, we have to be in a deep state of attention. And Toy Sensei calls this keeping one point. That's being in the center of the universe, recognizing and resting in that center, and extending ki, which is including everything in that which one point is the center of the universe. So, I kind of tortured you through all these things because I wanted to make sure that. So when I tell you that, you could say that I just said to you that how to pass the ki test is to pay attention. I guess I did, but Toysons says don't just teach how to pass. It's the teaching is the moon, not the finger pointing to the moon. What he means by that, as I said before, is don't teach somebody an expediency. There is no purpose. There is no purpose to passing a ki test beyond recognizing and experiencing being a human being, being one with your original being, your original self, experiencing that. That's why we have ki tests. It's not to make us feel better about ourselves because we've learned some trick or some technique or some special way to do something. So that's what he wants to discourage. It doesn't mean that you don't have to know what's going on. When as Melly, I think, was expressing, when you are, maybe several people did, getting ready to take a ki test, when somebody is coming to test you, we do want to be in deep attention. But deep attention doesn't mean deep attention on me. Or deep attention on that hand that's going to come touch me. Or deep attention on the eyes of the examiner. No, deep attention means on everything. So this is the center of the universe. This is all of the universe. And all of it is present. Everything there is. And then there's no nervousness is gone. Nervousness is not an issue. There might be a high level of energy, but it's not perceived as nervousness unless we're in doubt about something, if we're in fear. If we're resting in the center of the universe, that energy is very powerful, and we feel very stable. Okay? So, are there any questions about that? You know, it's interesting when I say something like that. I can't see all of you, but I can see a few across the top here. And all of your heads went, hmm. And when I said, do you have any question about that? Yes, you do. But you don't want to ask me. So I'm just calling on you and asking you to comment. You know, Lynn Curtis? Lynn Curtis? I never get to hear from you at these sessions because I somehow, doesn't seem fair or something to call you because you're my wife. Would you say something, please? Hang on, Priya. Regarding key testing.
Just that it finally makes sense to me. It's, you know, we've been doing it for a long time. And I guess that's the process that you go through. But more and more, it's making sense to me that, you know, it's not about a skill, learning a skill. And it's, my favorite saying is it's about informing the person being tested. It's to inform you. And then once we started down this path of, you know, deeper examination of key testing, I realized that it does all come back to me and what I'm experiencing when I am experiencing the key test. I go right to, you know, where was my mind? Where was I? What did I do? How did I react? Did I react? You know, was it physical? Was it, you know, did my mind jump around? And it's been really good for self-examination.
Can I ask you, what's the difference then between giving and receiving the key test?
Well, besides the obvious, I think they're very similar. It's very similar. You, in order to give a key test, you have to be very calm, and it has to come from a very deep place in you. It comes from your one point.
So it is required to,
yeah.
To receive or to give.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Priya, you wanted to say something?
Yes, thank you, Sensei. And thank you, Lynn. That was actually one of my questions. How is it for you as the examiner? You talked a little bit about that, but I'm wondering, I had the thought last time I got tested about how incredible of an opportunity it is to connect that way between people, to connect with each other's energy in that way. So I was wondering if you could talk more about that.
Thank you. I think it's very revealing. as to our state of mind. I mean, totally. I remember, Tohei Sensei, as Prakash was pointing out, he's often testing a long line of people, right? Because he's teaching a class on key testing, then he lines up all the chief instructors and he goes down and he checks everyone, just walking along. Sometimes he comes to you and it doesn't touch you. It moves on. Sometimes he comes to you and touches you and you fall over. Sometimes he comes and touches you and nothing happens. And like I say, sometimes he doesn't even touch you. So I ask him, Sensei, what are you doing? You're driving me crazy here. Because I think when I fall over, you push me over. When I don't fall over, you give me a break. That's what it feels like to me. And he laughed. And he said, just the opposite. That's because you think it's all about you. He said, you're not paying attention. I'm giving you the same key test. When you're stable, my hand doesn't move through you. When you're not stable, my hand moves through you. When you're stable, when I arrive, I don't even have to touch you. So that's when I began to realize, it's seeing is the most important first part, then feeling, and then, if needs be, confirmation. So the person who's testing and the person that's receiving the test, their connection, their relationship, their understanding of human nature and how it works really jumps right out at you, right? So this is the thing that I love so much about Aikido, because there's no other place you can go. There's no other school where you get tested like that, where you have to come up with the goods, and not just by being brilliant intellectually, because sometimes you can get away with that. In a good Zen school, you can't even get away with that, but sometimes maybe. But in Aikido, you have to have mind-body unification. There's no two ways about it. And you have to be able to demonstrate it. And if, for instance, you're a teacher, you have to be able to do it. You can't fake it, because the students can tell. The students can see. And sooner or later, they'll see. Okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Tracy Reasoner, come in. Come in, Tracy.
Yes, Sensei, I'm here.
You're there in the dojo. How nice.
Exactly. Where else would I be?
Hey, please share with us what rank is your what is your key rank?
Jodan?
Tell you.
Yeah. I think. I don't know.
All taking your Jodan test?
Yeah, you gave me a Jodan. Yeah, Carlos. I'm the same rank as Carlos. Jodan.
That's right.
We took it together.
Share with me what that experience was like. Share with these people.
Okay, so I was in Lokahi at the seminar there a few years ago. Can't quite remember when. And of course, we've been practicing. Sensei's very good about when he holds a seminar, you basically practice beforehand. He kind of themes a seminar around whoever is testing. In that way, I was very fortunate. And, it's very, I liked what Toby said. You have to be able to accept whatever arises. And I wasn't very good at that. And, Sensei is very good at building your confidence up after he shatters it. He shatters your confidence till you have zero confidence, and then you kind of get built back up in the sense. And, I got built up pretty good throughout the seminar and feeling really good about myself. And, he was teaching, I'm not the best person to take a key test because I'm very self-conscious about myself. Am I good enough? Am I going to pass? And he basically, you can usually tell what kind of key test you're going to have after the very first one. First one, he tests you. If you get through that, it's like, it just kind of sets the tone. And I did really well, but I got a bit caught up in that throughout the test, and it kept building to where, you stand on one leg, and I am really good at that. So I knew, oh, I'm going to nail it. And as soon as that flashed in my mind, boom, I failed that one. And he basically picked me back up and said, and he gave me a really good pointer. And then that pointer kind of washed it away. And I went back, it was kind of a reset. And I was able to recover from that and realize, and, key testing is to me, is a lot like any of our practices, especially breathing. Key breathing, I think, is really something that relates spot on with key testing. Being able to give a good key test, because that's really hard, as well as taking a key test. Does that answer, Sensei? Is that good?
That's great. Almost.
Almost. The theme of my teaching career.
Okay, so I have to correct you, because I never shattered anybody's key.
It was just me then, Sensei. Sumimasen.
No, that you have to understand that this is what I was talking about Tohei Sensei. That he's so, he's my teacher, right? So when your teacher comes along and looks at you a certain way, it feels like a certain way, and then touches you, you're going down, man. You're going down, okay? He has shattered your confidence, okay? But he didn't do that to you. You did that to you. I did that to me when Tohei Sensei, and that's why he laughed and was explaining to me, no. And this was all came out of, and why I wanted to ask you about this is Priya's the comment, about the relationship between the student and the teacher, or the examinee and the examiner. It is a great opportunity for an honest revelation of how we react to being confronted. How
I agree.
It does to us, right?
Yes. And may I say one thing?
Please.
Okay. So I think I told this little thing at one of my classes, and that was when I had first moved to Maui, and you were doing the whole line everybody up and test them all at one time. And then some people, of course, pass, some people don't. I'm standing there, and you gave me the test and then the test. And of course, I was really good for the original test. I was really good. And then next thing you know, I'm getting pushed over, and I looked at you and said, wait a minute, that wasn't fair. And you just were going down the line, and you just looked at me and said, you stopped and just looked at me and said, do you really want me to be fair? And I was just like totally crushed at that moment. I thought I was doing a good job. And you shattered, or I shattered it, because I was just had that feeling of being overwhelmed.
There's so much in this. See, that's why I want you folks to talk about it, because, there's so much in the experience that we learn about ourselves in just key testing. Throw away all the rest of Aikido. If we just did key testing for 20, 30, 40 years, still there would be no end to it, because it's so revealing in terms of our requirements, our social requirements, in the way that we interact with other people, and particularly with a teacher is a person of authority that we have some trepidation about them, but at the same time we want to impress them. Probably that's two sides of the same coin. And we, and since they're our teacher, we're waiting, we're waiting and waiting and waiting to get the meaning, the thing I keep talking about, what's underneath this, you know. And I'm not teasing when I talk about that or ask you for that meaning. That's like a key test. I'm feeling, I'm trying to see, is there a direct connection here? Or is this going to be an intellectual thought process? Can I come up with something clever to say, you know? When you come in Zen, when you come to the teacher for your meeting, you sit for hours and then you come in and have a dokusan. You come with the teacher. Teacher has a wooden stick and he asks you, tell me the answer to my question. And if you try to bullshit this guy, he hits you with a stick. Or even, no matter who it is, he hits you with a stick and says, go back. So you have to go back and then you have to sit some more. And then you come back. He asks you the same question again. He's got the stick in his hand. Okay, so talk about a key test. So it's not true that there are no key tests outside of Key Society. That is a key test. Actually, there's key tests everywhere. Life is built of key tests. That's what it all is about, okay? But it's not offered as a formal teaching like this is what I mean. And that's the real beauty of Tohei Sensei's teaching, is that it's all, you have to be able to do it. You have to be able to come up with the goods. You can't just talk about it. You need to talk about it because you need to share it with other people. But you better be able to do what you're talking about. This is what my teacher, Suzuki Sensei, was very big on this. He says, I never teach anything I cannot do. Don't ever teach anything to the students that you cannot do. Okay, so we're about to the end. Is there anyone else that wants to say something or ask something?
Sensei?
Yes.
This is Mark.
Hello.
The calmest I've ever been was lying on a hospital gurney, waiting to go into an operating room for a kidney transplant. I didn't know that I was calm at that moment until the anesthesiologist came up to me and said, did they already give you something? And I said, no. And he said, okay, well, I'm giving it to you now. And that was it. And I just have come to believe that at that moment, I had to be in full acceptance of the inevitability of that next moment. It was so real. It was so clear.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well, our life is filled with this. It's like you're saying. I mean, that's an intense moment where a lot is happening. I've been on that gurney myself. I know what it's like. So there's a lot of energy there. But there's a lot of energy when you're talking to your partner. There's a lot of energy when you're talking to your grandchildren. There's a lot of energy, and it's all a key test. It all requires the same level of calmness, the same level of acceptance, the same level of inquiry. Inquiry means our mind is open and looking. So that's when, what I mean when I say giving key test and receiving key test is the same. It's a mind that is open and in inquiry. Okay. Thank you very much. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Domo arigato.
See you.
Arigatou gozaimashita.
Aloha.
Thank you, Sensei.